Hello friends, it's Trevor, it's Avery, it's Pat, it's the citywide special. The Sixers keep their season alive with a dramatic overtime win Tuesday at Madison Square Garden. A statement game from Tyrese Maxey helps compensate for a sluggish Embiid performance. Can the Sixers do it again at home Thursday and push the series to 7? Howie Roseman and the Eagles receive high marks on their draft haul. The Birds pick up 2 top DB prospects in Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. A.J. Brown has also been signed to a 3-year extension. Could Matvei Michkov be coming to the Flyers sooner than expected? Rumors swirl regarding the Russian prospect's current KHL contract. Sean Couturier has hired a new agent. What does it all mean? The Phillies cap off another series win against the Angels, wrapping up a successful road trip. The Phils become the first MLB team to reach 20 wins. Can the Titans keep up the pace and overtake the Braves in the NL East? All that and more coming up right now. How's it going, fellas?
Doing well. Again, you know what I mean? Always sunny in Philadelphia. It's a nice, beautiful 80-plus degree day again. About 2-3 days in a row now, which is nice. Got to have a couple backyard beers. Not Stoop beers, but one of the same just about. But yeah, man, it feels pretty good. Good little cautiously optimistic energy buzzing around the city. But yeah, can't complain. ACs are buzzing again. But yeah, man.
Yeah, so did
y'all turn yours on?
Yeah, we put one into the bedroom finally this year.
Did you not have one up there before? You just had central air?
We just had the central air, but we figured because like it sucks to cool the whole entire house down. You know what I mean? For just to go to bed.
Sure.
So we finally put one in. I think his parents had one extra in their attic, so we threw one up there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I only rock with the central air. I've been hesitant. I've been resistant. I don't want to do that too soon. And then just become used to it all summer.
Oh, exactly.
Like, I usually like to wait till it's like consistently above 90. Like these temperatures have been low to mid 80s. It's been tolerable, right?
Yeah.
Like it's been decent. At night, a couple nights, it's been a little harder to sleep, but all in all, I've been sleeping pretty good. Except for last night, I was just too amped from the Sixers game, which we will talk about. But yo, we also got to talk about it is the year of violence. I didn't bring it up, but I'm wearing the shirt now, the Kelly Oubre shirt. That was a violent act when he said, "You're a bitch, your mom's a bitch, your dad's a bitch, your grandma's a bitch." That was violence. But then Kendrick came with that violence, dude. We were just talking about this before we started recording the pod.
Yeah, I still haven't listened to it.
You got to check it out,
I've been hearing
man.
about it.
Like, we don't need to make this a big Kendrick or Drake debate. I think, like, anyone that knows me well enough would know where I stand. But yeah, Kendrick, man, he came for that violence. He woke up yesterday morning, was like, I'm coming for that ass.
Yeah, man. And I think he did. It was good.
Yeah,
it's long,
very good.
Long, but good.
My favorite thing about Drake is how he gets pissed off when people post that picture of him and Degrassi when he's in a wheelchair.
Damn.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Holy shit, look how far he's come.
Yeah, but hey, his code name's Aubrey, man. He's soft, dude. We can't let a Canadian talk about Pac while he's in his grave. That's what Kendrick's saying, dude. But yeah, I won't give the song away, but it is a great song.
Yeah, we won't perform it here for you guys or anything like that.
Nah, I wouldn't be able to. But the other thing I got to say is, what's up, Big Pimpin'? Jalen Hunt, we'll get to him too.
Yeah.
We'll get to all that.
Mm-hmm.
All that and more on the Citywide Pod coming right up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, what do you guys want to start with? Just dive right into the
let's
Sixers?
go with the Sixers,
Yeah,
man.
With the hot hand right now.
This is going to be a Sixers dominant pod, I feel like.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot to talk about here.
So they pull it off.
Yep, they do. I mean, that game, it was nice seeing them be able to win an ugly one like that when Embiid's did not really have it. So finally, someone else steps up. Maxey has, a career performance, hits those big shots at the end. But yeah, I mean, there were several times during that game where it was just like, all right, this is definitely a loss. Like, nothing is going our way. We're getting all these sloppy turnovers. We're not hitting any shots. But somehow they find a way.
Yeah, I mean, 47 minutes and 32 seconds into that game, I was over it. I was ready to... I had gone so far as to, in our rundown, say the Sixers lose in New York and we're left to ponder an offseason of just who knows what ahead of us, right?
Yeah.
And then Maxey comes on, dude. I was like, yeah, Embiid, I had this whole, like, not monologue, but I had this, like, statement about him being the tragic hero of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Just prepared. And, like, tragic hero. The central character of a play, film depicted as a noble figure who experiences a tragic downfall. His being just injury after injury after injury after injury. His face is paralyzed because of Bell's palsy.
Yep.
Like, every year it's something. And I was just like, yeah, it's fighting for the noble cause for our city, but every year a tragedy befalls him. Then Tyrese Maxey came and saved the day, dude. He was the protagonist. He's our knight in shining armor. Just went off in that fourth quarter with 28 seconds left when
nobody else.
Oh, hope was lost.
Yeah. From the logo.
Yeah, it was wild.
Nonetheless.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like people's defense right now, their only scheme is to just swarm and beat of late, which makes sense. I mean, I would do that too. If, you leave him unguarded, he's going to pop off and get you that 30-point game. But defenses now are figured like, all right, well, let's see what everybody else can do on the team. They know that Tobias is going to be a 40-60 guy. Like, he's not going to hit less than half the shots that you give him free to look.
There's nobody else last night, though.
A little bit, but there's nobody else like that. That's a risk you're willing to take.
Yeah.
And see what
I mean,
you
when
can
they were
do.
doubling up Embiid, they were actually doing a pretty good job of moving the ball around and getting open looks, but they were just bricking all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, Embiid ends up with 10 assists or whatever, but he could have had more if the shooting was a little better.
Dude, he could have had damn near 20 if they made shots and he didn't turn the ball over so much.
Right.
But still, you're relying on the supporting cast around Embiid, and last night was a testament to the supporting cast, but really just Maxey coming out as the other premier player. I mean, it's similar to when Harden last year bailed us out to a couple games when Embiid didn't have it due to injury and just fatigue, and how he is in the playoffs after all these back-to-back games. I mean, not back-to-back, you get a day off, but still, he's not the player that can play clearly this many games in that, that time span. But Maxey gave us some life and some juice up there. I mean, he kind of mirrored campaign with that, with the energy, and that's the first time I really ever saw Maxey get visibly fired up and like mad about being in this position, which is awesome to see that transition with Maxey right now and a sense of maturity. I'd have to believe that Embiid might have another big game in him left in this series if it goes, 2 more games, but I don't know. It was just nice to see Maxey show up, I guess.
Well, speaking of big Embiid games, I mean, we talked for a few minutes here about Game 5. We got to talk about how we got here, right? Like the last time we recorded, the series was, 2-0?
Yeah.
So, big games. Embiid comes out in Game 3 and drops 50.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes, 5 threes?
Yeah, I think it was like
that was
5
nuts.
of 7 or something
Some
crazy
of those
like
threes
that.
were
3 in
just
a row at
unreal.
one
Like,
point.
guys are just, in his face, hands up. He's just shooting over guys, effortlessly.
Yep.
So, I mean, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Embiid. Like, he didn't have it in Game 3.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I'm sorry, he didn't have it in Game 5. But Game 3, we lose that game without him. That was, the closest we saw to the 70-point performance.
Yep.
That game. It was just jumper after jumper.
It was in my head. I was like, he might hit
At the end of the
close to
game,
that.
he's just driving to the hoop relentlessly, getting fouled, making his free throws. He was hooping. So, Game 3 was a big Embiid game where he just took over and made sure, after he made that proclamation, we're the better team. It's fucking unacceptable that the refs gave them that game. It's unacceptable. The friggin' refs were going to win the series. He came out and stood on business that game.
Big time. He had to after making that statement. You can't make that statement and then come out and have a duck. You have to do that. But then Sunday comes around and...
I mean, for most of Sunday, he played well, but Nick Nurse... I was also going to come on this pod and bury Nick Nurse if they lost last night, but I'll save that for if and when they get eliminated. But Nick Nurse makes the boneheaded decision to play him the entire fourth quarter, which... I get it. You're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
They hemorrhage points when he's on the bench.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's has Bell's palsy, which we found out officially. Last pod, we were like, what the hell's wrong with his eye?
Yeah.
It's Bell's palsy. We found out after Game 3. So his face is literally partially paralyzed. He probably can't see half the time. He's battling this meniscus, which. I wouldn't be surprised if he has to get another cleanup after the season, the way it seems.
100%.
Doesn't seem like it's good. I'm you can't be playing homie 24 straight minutes in the second half, even if things are dire. So, Game 4, I think Embiid played good for the first 3 quarters. But then the fourth quarter, he just wore down.
Yeah, he completely ran out of gas.
What do you want him to do?
Yeah.
The other thing we got to talk about with Game 4, not so much the game itself, but the setting in which we watched it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Shout out Lucky 13. It was a great day.
Yeah, we had the Flavors on the Ave, little street festival thing on Passyunk, so that was, fun atmosphere. Ducking to Lucky 13 to watch the game, and the vibes were strange, to say the least.
That was the weirdest vibe I've ever witnessed for, like, watching a Sixers game. And I've watched some Sixers games at Michael's place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like, in Michael's place is usually pretty grotesque, but Lucky took the cake. So, yeah, like, I think we all got there around the start of the second half.
Yep.
Just hanging out, chilling. The game was a tightly contested game at that point. But, then this guy walks in. I don't even know how to even say this, that the listeners will be able to capture it, but my man was probably do you think he was over 5 feet tall?
No. I think he was like 3.5, 4 feet.
He was definitely taller
than 3.5.
3.5
He wasn't
feet. He was probably maybe 4'8".
Yeah.
I definitely know 12-year-olds taller than him. I think
He was.
It's I don't know if I know any 12-year-olds.
It was a short. He was really short.
Yeah,
he was really short. Very, very short.
It's really short. My man was fired up, just repeating everything everyone said.
Like a little parrot, little parrot on your shoulder.
Do you even know if he knew which team he was rooting for?
I have no idea.
No, definitely not.
I don't think so.
But I knew that he was standing behind me the whole entire time, and every time I'd be like, damn, come on, man. Like, yeah, what the? Yeah, come on, man. Like, I couldn't make eye contact with him because I knew we would be instant friends. So I was like, I don't want to cause any more attention. But everything I said was just, I'm a Miller Lite. Yeah, I'm a Miller Lite. I'm like, I don't know. We're not. I don't even know who this guy is right now.
Dude.
It was a wild cast of crews.
Yeah, and he had that. And there's that guy who looked like he was about to, have a full-on panic attack because Embiid was shooting too many threes.
Oh, my God.
He's the most annoying type of fan. Like, stop shooting threes.
Get your ass in the post.
Oh, God.
Get down in the post.
Like, yeah.
Every possession. Every single possession.
If he doesn't get his ass in the post.
That's the most annoying type of fan. The ones who just don't understand what makes certain players good and unique and just want them to play like everyone else does. It's like, yeah, it'd be, Joel Embiid would be better if he just played like fucking Jusuf Nurkic. Right. That'd be great. If we just had a guy like that where he doesn't take mid-range jumpers, doesn't shoot threes or any of that stuff. Just don't even have any kind of threat. We don't want people to have to cover him on the perimeter or do anything like that. Just play like a
granted he's
box standard center.
Granted he's slowed down that game, but like to repeat yourself that amount of times,
10 times every possession.
Every single possession, every single time Embiid was not in the paint or in the post, like it just.
Then whenever Embiid would miss, he's like, "Oh, I'm glad he missed."
Yeah, the guy was
dude,
not.
Whose side are you on, dude?
He could not be happy with whatever was going down, with whatever Embiid was doing that final stretch. Nothing would have made that man happy. So you had that guy saying the same thing over and over again. You had the little man repeating everything everybody else said. It was a wild.
Then you just had like the general vibes in the bar because the bar was packed.
Yeah.
So as the Sixers started to choke the game away, like everyone else was just sad and distraught.
The energy was definitely. I mean, at the beginning we were all there. It was like a little back and forth. Every big three.
When we were up 10, we were vibing.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
But it was good that there was the like festival thing going on because I feel like if I had gone out specifically to watch the game, I would have been kind of miserable.
Oh yeah.
But I was like,
well, that's why.
Drink the day away and just not worry about it.
Yeah, just go hang out.
Well, that's why after the game ended, or as it looked like the Sixers were going to lose, I was all about that positive mental attitude. You know what I'm saying? That PMA.
Yeah, exactly.
Positive vibes only, dude. And we had a great day that day. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this was so goddamn funny, yo. When that guy, the short guy, was repeating everyone. Yo, shout out Nick, our cute designer friend who we've mentioned many times. After the next Hoogie Crawl episode, you're coming back on the pod, bitch. You already know. But, so Nick just got back from South Africa. My man got a nice fat promotion. He was there for work. And I was like, yo, let me get $5. So then when he got back from South Africa, he was at Lucky. I was like, yo, Nick, where are my $5? You know, the short little guy. He goes, yeah, where are my $5? Dude, he was literally just
I'm pretty disappointed that Nick didn't give that guy $5. Like, come on, man.
Honestly.
Like,
he earned it at that point.
Yeah.
And he hung around us the whole time. Like, he was our friend.
I'm surprised he didn't follow us after we left.
Me too, thank God. Oh, man.
We totally missed an opportunity to get him on the pod, yo.
Yeah,
think about him sitting right here in between us.
Just repeating everything we say all the time.
Yo,
yeah, that'd be a great podcast.
I'd be like, yeah, Joel Embiid, tragic hero. Yeah, Joel Embiid, tragic hero.
He did yell everything someone else says, too.
For real,
you could, like, say something to someone next to you, he would like, yeah, what did he say? Like, what? I was just asking how his day went. I wasn't even talking about the game.
Dude, he was wild, man.
Yeah, he was I don't even know if he was even drinking like that either. I didn't even see him buy a beer.
I don't think he did. Wow, that's a great point.
I don't think
he didn't get a beverage at all.
No.
He was just there.
Yeah. He was just vibing out.
Do you think he was over 21?
He had like an older look to his face.
He was just really small. He was petite.
Yes. When I got my beers at the bar, I turned over. I was like, oh, my bad. Like, I almost stepped on him. I was like, my bad, dude. Like, hold on now. But he brought the energy for sure. If they were winning, he probably would have been electric in the bar.
No, he would have been a lot of fun.
But I wasn't ready to play with the guy yet. I'm like,
the vibes were very stank, and he just was not reading the room.
No. He was reading it and saying everything that everybody was saying.
Yeah, he was
reading it very literally.
Yeah.
He was reading it and repeating it.
It's like Simon Says Up in a bitch. That shit was wild.
Yeah, my man was stuck in 3rd grade English. The rest of us were all in 12th grade English.
Brutal. But terrible way to end. And obviously, too, not only that, but the vibes in Wells Fargo seemed a bit off as well, given the fact that it was mobbed with New York Knicks fans, which was
cockroaches.
Kind of disheartening to see.
That was, honestly, like, I wasn't too upset about losing Game 4. Like, we've seen that loss so many times in the last 7-8 years, and, like, I was going to talk more about that, but they had to go and win last night, so I'll save it for another day. But my biggest problem with losing that game was just watching all the Knicks fans celebrate, like, just screaming, fuck Embiid in our concourse. They even went and put a Knicks jersey on Wilt Chamberlain, the only guy that scored 100 points.
They burnt a jersey right out front of the stadium, too.
That's asinine, dude. Like, to let them take over our stadium, for me, that was the part that got me the most after losing that game.
It was upsetting, honestly. I mean, the Link would never let that happen. Shout out to Link and Eagles fans. But the Knicks, that was just a little fucked up, to be honest. And, like, we haven't really been... I always felt like the Sixers were kind of cool with the Knicks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't like them, whatever.
We've never been good at the same time.
Yeah,
we hate Boston.
That rivalry hasn't really been there. Cause...
Like, we hate Boston, but now it's like a full-fledged... They really poured gasoline on this rivalry and made it a thing.
Yeah,
now
it kind of reminds me how, like, you know, the Phillies and the Mets were never really that big of rivals until they both got good at the same time like, you know, 28 through 11 or whatever.
But I've always hated the Mets. I've never been like, man, fuck the Knicks. Like, I never really...
Well, for like most
they've been bad for so long.
They've been
like,
bad since like the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And like when we're like growing up, we aren't like trained to hate teams.
No. Well...
Yeah. Well, I guess we're kind of trained to hate the Cowboys.
I think
but
so.
That's a different... Cowboys-Eagles is a different level of intensity than even Sixers-Knicks is right now, right?
Exactly.
So like we've all been trained to hate the Cowboys since probably the day we came out of the womb, quite frankly. But, like, Knicks, we were never trained to hate them, even when, like, they were decent in the 90s. It was just like, oh, they were the Knicks. But I will also say the Sixers weren't good in the 90s.
No. Plus,
which is probably why.
You also factor in, like, the whole Villanova connection, so it's like a double-edged sword where, like, A, Philly, New York has this weird relationship when it comes to sports and just things in general. And then B, it adds extra salt in the wound when they swarm your home field advantage. And B... or C, whatever letter I'm on, when they start, you know, you're getting beat by Nova guys that are like, you know, like everybody said, when they were winning, people are like, oh, yeah, I love Nova, this and that. So it sucks to see guys that you probably at one point rooted for, whether or not you thought they were a Philly school or not, doesn't really matter. But, like, at one point, people were like, oh, like, we appreciated that team winning and all that shit, you know, Coach Wright and all that. It just sucks to see that now biting us in the ass that way, in like a double edge. But fuck the Knicks now, man. I mean, they really called it out. But I will say, they're playing like they have at least some kind of, I don't know, vinegar in them or shit like that against the Sixers. Where the team until last night, I don't think really had that edge of like, damn, I hate the Knicks, where the Knicks felt like they really hated the Sixers the whole time, playing more aggressive, playing like kind of bully ball football, like I said, and we're playing basketball. Last night, it seemed like we finally clicked a little bit in terms of, and not saying that we're going to go anywhere or do anything with it, but they played last night with the energy that the Knicks have been playing the whole entire series.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they certainly did. They finally woke up. Also, I think some of the bounces went our way. Some of the refs' calls finally went our way. Some of them still went against us. Like that Embiid flagrant. I knew they were going to call flagrant, even though it probably shouldn't have been. Maxey wasn't getting a whistle as soon as you like sneeze on Brunson.
Right.
They're calling a foul. Yeah. So some things didn't go our way.
Maxey has the worst whistle in the fucking NBA.
But some things did.
He
like
smiles all the time.
You saw the Knicks missing some free throws. Like you saw them throwing the ball out of bounds the way we have for much of the series. And like it all evened out. And then, I mean, we can talk about last night now, right? So the Sixers were down 6 with 28 seconds left. At that point, the win probability for this game was something off the chain. I had a screenshot of it. This was wild. So the Knicks were favored to win the game by 95.4%. The Sixers had a 4.6% chance of winning the game with 28 seconds left. Maxey comes out, makes the 3 on the 4-point play that they almost called a 2-point shot. They were trying to claim his foot was on the line. What the hell was that?
It wasn't even close.
It's like, I'm glad they reviewed it and then just say like, okay, we'll just
run
with
it. It was funny today in the L2M report. It said that should have been called a travel on him. Did you see that?
It probably should have. Like, I watched the replay. I was like,
don't care.
Yeah, we got screwed really bad.
We're even now.
We got the payback.
As far as I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, but then like that happens, right? And I'm just like, like I'm like I'd already resigned myself to the season being over. I'm like, whatever, that's cool. Like I love Tyrese Maxey, he's still fighting. Then Josh Hart comes out. The Sixers did the smart thing. They didn't foul right away. They were like, let's wait until they put the ball on a guy that can't really shoot free throws that good. They wait till Josh Hart gets the ball, then they foul him.
Yep.
That was smart.
Yeah.
Then he bricks the first. And dude, the second he almost missed too.
Yep.
The second finally rolls in.
Yeah, it kind of bounced a couple times. Yeah.
But like him breaking the first was things going our way for once in this whole goddamn series, right? So then he inbounds the ball. Or I forget who inbounds the ball. Someone inbounds the ball to Maxey. Gets a screen from Embiid at half court. And like, I was still like, oh, the season's fucked. The season's over. Like, this isn't... Nothing's going to happen.
We've seen Maxey take those deep threes all season, and like when he's playing shitty teams, they go in late in the fourth quarter, like, oh great, if they miss, no big deal. But of late, when he takes those kind of fairly deep threes, like a Steph Curry type of three, you're like, all right, like I appreciate the effort, but this is it. Like this is his big send off for the year. I didn't expect that to go in.
No. I didn't believe it went in. I was just like, what the fuck?
It was also hilarious that they didn't foul him. And you could see Thibs on the fucking sideline, like, having a fucking conniption, trying to get, I think it was like Deuce McBride was near him and, like, was the guy who probably should have grabbed him or whatever, and he couldn't get to him or whatever. That was great.
I mean, he's so deep back, you're not, I guess.
You don't want to foul him too early. Like, you don't want to foul him with 10 seconds left, because then he's going to make 2 free throws and you just rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, you don't let him cross half court. Like, you foul him when he gets to half court, but then just hits that logo 3. The coolest thing, man, like, I don't know what I did more of today. Watch the replay of that shot or listen to the Kendrick diss track. I probably did both about 50 times.
You could listen to the Kendrick diss track while you're watching the
I definitely did that a couple times.
Well, you have plenty of time to do that. Cause it's
the diss track.
6-minute track.
I could squeeze probably 100 listens or I could squeeze 100 views of that shot into a listen of the diss track. But anyway, like the coolest thing about watching that diss track, I'm all twisted up now. I'm so riled up. The coolest thing about watching that replay of the shot is just how when you hear Maxey like release the ball and you can hear the crowd like stop breathing.
You can hear a mouth
Then the ball goes through the net and you just hear an audible groan from like 20,000 people in that crowd. It's epic.
Fucking Did you see that one snapshot of Maxey going by and John Stewart's just standing there
Yeah,
like in disbelief?
Or Tracy
Morgan
Morgan
giving
just
a finger.
Yep.
Ben Stiller looks like he was about to like attack somebody. Yeah, I love getting the celebs all riled up.
Also, Maxey was our knight in shining armor, like you said, Avery, too. But I mean, Batum with that block.
At the end, yeah, because they had plenty of time to score. That was huge.
And not for nothing, like, usually they would, I could just see them calling a foul for that, and they let it go. I'm like, all right, not that it could have been, but, you know, the series hasn't been in our favor in terms of what they've been calling shit. I'm like, oh, here we go, like, Brunson to the line, and nothing happened. I'm like, oh my God, this is, all right, we're going to overtime. All right, now. So he came up clutch. And it's funny because I feel like he's been so close so many times against Brunson. I thought that this whole matchup, he has been a pretty good defender against Brunson, even though he gives up a significant age gap for the most part.
No, he's been solid.
But his height, his length, he's still got some pretty good agility to him from the defense perspective. But talk about a hell of a block. I mean, that was just as good as he had against, what's it called? I guess Miami at the end.
Yeah. Bro, the other one, too, was like, this is in overtime. Like, when he goes to contest that Brunson 3.
Yeah.
And he contested so well that Brunson's like, oh, shit, I got to give this up. And he just throws it out of bounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's Batum, too, man.
Yeah.
And Batum had a huge offensive rebound late in the game that set up that Embiid and one.
Yep.
In overtime, now Batum was hooping.
I don't think I realized how large Batum was until he had that crazy game against Miami and he had a post-game interview against Embiid. I'm like, he's not. I mean, Embiid's only got him by like an inch or two. Like he's huge.
Yeah, he's like 6'8", 6'9".
But he moves like a smaller guy, which is
Batum used to be a hooper back in the day, dude. Like, I know after the Miami game, I was like, damn, I forgot. But Batum had some seasons where he averaged like 16 points and was like a very efficient shooter. Like, he's a good player. He was a good player, and like he's smart.
I mean, you see that veteran savviness of like he's not gonna. You know, Oubre's been getting caught a lot in these last couple of games where like he's a great defender, but he's a little bit too excited where he is gonna tap someone on the elbow or tap someone on the wrist at the last second, which doesn't impact the shot at all. But you're gonna get called for a foul every time. Where Batum, I guess it's his height and length that are kind of helping him out there, but he doesn't do the little like stupid shit where he doesn't follow through on the swing. He just puts his hand up and calls it a day, except for that fucking swat he had against Brunson. But it's just been everything that could have worked out our way happened to work out our way for a change. I mean, we were in that same position that the Knicks were in Game 2 when we were up by 6 with pretty much the same amount of time on the clock, and it was the Knicks with that energy. That's what I feel like this game was. It's a shame that we had to be down 3-1 for it, but the younger guys, Embiid, is going to be gassed every game in the playoffs by the fourth quarter, at least mid-fourth quarter. It's just the name of the game when a guy's injury-prone, that big, playing his ass off the whole entire time. It's no knock on his ability, but you need the guys that are youthful and young, like Maxey, Oubre, even Campaign, to be running the fucking floor,
shout out Campaign.
Passing that ball.
Who called the Campaign breakout in Game 3?
Yeah.
I called it on the nose. I said 12 points. I'm pretty sure he had 12 points.
Yeah.
Campaign's
he's
been
been great.
dude.
It just felt good to see the team kind of have that energy when they know that their backs are against the wall, that they weren't going to back down just yet. I mean, it helps that Maxey went off for 47 points, but still, everybody else played with that same tenacity.
Yeah, I mean, we touched on it a little bit earlier, but Tobias Harris.
I was just about to bring him up.
Clearly not ready to call it a Sixers career yet, man. He doesn't want to leave yet. He's not done. He's got unfinished business.
One more game to earn that contract, baby.
Yeah.
Dude, those free throws at the end.
Yeah, he knocked down some tough shots earlier in the game, too.
The one, it's like, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
I was going to say the one, like, when we were down, like, 6 points, like, I think it was 85-79. Shot clock's winding down, and Nobi's like pasted on him. Toby shoots this like ugly ass looking wing jumper with Anunoby draped all over him, just nothing but net. It was Toby time, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna,
can you play at one? This is probably the last occasion.
I was gonna say,
probably will be the last one.
It may very well be our last opportunity. So
it's Toby time.
Gotta get in there.
Toby time. It's Toby time. Toby time.
Toby time.
It's Toby time. Toby time.
Nice.
That's right.
Damn. Well,
but he showed up.
He had to. We'll see what he does.
Let's do it again tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 9 o'clock, we'll see what he does. And now,
Sixers After Dark.
I will say, too, his defense this series hasn't been terrible. He's
been pretty good.
He's been
solid
pretty
on well.
He's been decent on Brunson. Brunson's got him a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, Brunson's going to get his. He's going to get his. I mean, it is what it is.
He leads the league in playoff scoring. Yeah.
But Tobias has been not disappointing from the defensive end at all. I will say he's had multiple fucking layups and then offensive rebounds and then layup and then offensive.
Yeah, he was getting boards.
He just can't quite. I don't know what it is, but he's under the net. He just can't put that shit fucking in.
He just can't jump.
It's just infuriating, though.
Toby's like...
That's what's annoying to me.
He's getting older, man. Like, he's 32. Like, I don't know. He can't jump like he could 5 years ago.
I'm not, but then when you get the rebound, then pass it out. But I appreciate the effort, but there's been multiple times in
I hear you.
a lot of the games against the Knicks where, like, he misses it, which you're like, I expect that from Tobias. Oh, my God, he got the offensive rebound, which we never usually do. Then he goes and shoots it again. You're like, oh, nice. Misses it again. Grabs the rebound again. Misses the shot again. And then the Knicks get the rebound. You're like, what is... That is like... That's how I always remember Tobias. It's just what could have been.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's been since the day they traded for him, right?
Infuriating.
Yeah, it's hard to believe he's been a Sixer for...
But if he keeps playing defense like this, you know, someone else is going to have to step up because you're not going to get another... You may, but the odds of you getting another crazy-ass game from Maxey or a crazy-ass game from Embiid, I think are pretty slim.
I think you're more likely to get a crazy one from Maxey just because they don't really have anyone that can guard them. Yeah. And as long as they continue to sell out on Embiid, which I probably wouldn't do if I were them, but I can understand why they're doing it, then Maxey's, like, you're not going to be able to contain them both. Like, that was one of the things watching the end of Game 4 and the end of Game 5 before the Sixers came back that was most infuriating, was that they were just dumping the ball at Embiid in the post.
Yeah.
Every possession.
Yeah, it felt like the Doc Rivers offense.
Every possession.
Well, them having Mitchell back too, though, is a game changer for the Knicks. I mean, he can stand Embiid up a little bit. He clearly has been kind of getting in Embiid's head a little bit. Also, every time Embiid got the ball, they were booing his ass. So he looked just physically and mentally worn down in New York. He looked okay on Sunday, you know what I mean? But yesterday, Mitchell definitely is a different beast than fucking, what's his name, Hartenstein, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Chua, yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow night. If Embiid maybe he played a little bit lazy, figure he gets a day off today to kind of rest up a little bit. I would imagine he'll probably put a 30-piece up. But they just got to play smart, clean ball, and aggressive. You know, their backs are still against the wall. You go 3-3 and go back to New York. We haven't really seen... We saw what New York does when they have a chance to put away a game, and they couldn't really do it. Where
they haven't closed out a series in New York in over 20 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, you know what I mean? But
yeah, and I guess obviously, you know, the odds are definitely not in our favor to win 2 games in a row. But I mean, the thing that makes me feel like it's at least not crazy that it would happen is that pretty much all these games have been coin flips.
Dude, big time.
None of them have been blowouts, so there's no reason why they can't just win 2 more games.
I think it's one of the best series out there right now.
For the series, we've outscored them by 2 points, even though we're losing the series 3-2. Every game has been a nail-biter down to the last, minute.
Yeah, and it's almost kind of the same exact script every time, where we take a pretty decent lead in the first quarter. Second quarter, the Knicks give us a little punch back, but we either hold on to the lead or we're only down by 3 or 4 or up by 3 or 4. Third quarter, it's anybody's toss-up. And then fourth quarter is when you kind of see the ebb and flow of who's going to take it. But I think stealing that win in New York was a really huge boost to the Sixers. If they can come back home, hopefully squeeze out a win, I'm not really as worried about going back to New York. I don't have that same angst going to New York as I do going back to Boston, if that makes sense. I don't know why. I feel like right now that they've already heard New York so much, the fans from either playing in the Garden, coming home, hearing the New York Knicks fans at home. They pretty much had to play an extra away game even though they were at home.
Good point.
You know, every free throw attempt, Embiid doesn't miss that shit at home, but he's getting drowned out by the Knicks fans. So kudos to them for not getting blown out at home the last time they were here on Sunday. It sucks that they lost, but I think that they're kind of over the whole, okay, we get it. You guys hate us. You're going to be loud and obnoxious and annoying, but they were quiet as fuck last night. So you can do it.
Dude, when Maxey made that three, I just love hearing the sound of the energy leaving the building. It's so awesome. But, I mean, looking ahead to Game 6, I think that you kind of saw some things that the Sixers should do at the end of Game 5, right? Like, when Embiid's off the court, they lose. Embiid's a plus 48 in this series, and the Sixers are a plus 2 as a team in this series. That tells you the other minutes that he's not playing, they're getting outscored by 46 points, right? So they have to cover up for that. And I think they did a pretty good job last night. They got away from B-Ball Paul, who I love, but has just looked overmatched.
I was going to say, do you guys think that they maybe need to get creative and put a different lineup out there?
Mobamba, baby.
So what I think they need to do is go small. You put Batum at center. You have Toby and Oubre at wing, in either Lowry and Maxey or Maxey and what do you call it, Campaign. And then maybe if you need to get a little bigger, you bring in KJ Martin. Although I don't think Nurse is going to do that. He hasn't used them all series. Yeah. But like if you need someone else out there, then you do that. But yeah, I think you saw that last night. The minute or two that Embiid sat, they had that lineup in the game, and they didn't lose points. Like they held their own. So I think that's what you kind of need to do. That lineup's completely switchable 1 through 5 for the most part. Like they can cover a lot of the ground. They got some length. They got some speed. You have all shooters on the court. Like it should work. If you have to spell Embiid, you don't want that to be your lineup for more than a couple minutes.
No, I think you make a good point, though, where we have to account for when Embiid's not on the floor, but also we have to capitalize on when Brunson's on the floor. I mean, our bench is getting outscored.
That, too.
Like crazy. So when Brunson's not out there, you're 6 games in now, about to be 6 games in, you have to have at least some sort of different scheme coming up now. When Brunson's not on there, every team capitalizes against us when Embiid's not playing. We have to be able to capitalize. You know Brunson's their fucking floor general. He's going to kill you when he's on the court. You know, he's going to get his shots. He's going to get his free throws and all that. You can get lucky with some, bounces from him. But they have to find a way to get that bench activated while Brunson's off the court. Because if they don't, Brunson's going to shine in a crazy match, coming up tomorrow at 9.
Yeah, so I think you just let him get his in the minutes he's on the court. You saw that in overtime.
Yeah.
Right? They let him just shoot. He scored all 9 of their points in overtime, but he ran out of gas. Just let him keep fucking shooting. No one else touched the ball in overtime. And when they were asked to touch the ball, they missed.
They were cold.
So, don't let him go off for, 80 points. But, be smart when you help off of him. Let him get 40 or 50 points, but don't let the other guys get hot. So we've seen, when Josh Hart gets hot, or Hartenstein with that goddamn floater makes a couple.
Yeah.
Their confidence just builds up. Dude, I would just let Brunson go for it and just defend everyone else. He's not going to make shots forever. He's going to get tired. He's not going to be able to play the whole game. That's when you make hay. You make hay while the sun's shining, as they say. So, yeah. What else I got written down here? I think they need to diversify the offense. No more of this, just throw this shit in the post.
Yeah.
Just let Embiid cook. You saw some of those plays, the game-winning play, when Batum threw the pass to Oubre when he was cutting towards the hoop and Oubre almost dropped the ball.
Yep.
And that layup rolled in. Where's that been? Get Toby more involved, awesome cuts, awesome action. I don't know. I think, you need to diversify things a little bit. And you kind of saw at the end of that game where I think maybe this continues into Game 6. I hope it does.
Yeah, I mean, I think you make a good point with that. I mean, people can cut to the rack. I mean, Oubre is a force driving into the rack.
Yeah.
If he has the ball in his hand in the great position, he's going to dunk that shit on anybody, and he's phenomenal at that. And you saw that a little bit in the third or fourth quarter, whenever it was, where they passed it into Embiid, and Embiid passed it back to Maxey. Maxey didn't have a good look, but he shifted with the pass underneath somebody, and bang, Oubre came up over the top. You can overstack it, no big deal. And if not, hopefully you get enough bodies in there to get a rebound. So I think taking the pressure off of Embiid, I know we had a pretty slow game last game. I think that tomorrow they can't rely on him. I think that if he's feeling okay, you can. While we're up, when we have those 10-point stretch where we're up by 10 points in the first, second quarter, take him out immediately to save him for longer. I think would go a long way as well. You don't need to be out there for damn near the whole first half while you're winning, because we've done that every time we've seen that. He gets his in the first half. They go to halftime. They go out second half. He doesn't have any juice in the tank, whether it's because he can't see right or his legs tired, which is definitely a factor.
Of both.
And they're playing tough ball. I mean, it's 70s at this point, 80s. I mean, people are getting thrown around left and right.
This is some 90s ass basketball.
This shit is like...
I called it. I was like, this is going to be a 90s ass basketball series.
So they got to get creative, and I think that we're lucky to have Nick Nurse in there, though, because I don't see us winning that game last night if Doc Rivers is the head coach.
Probably not. Like I said, I have plenty of bones to pick with Nick Nurse, but I'm not going to do it after we just won a game. But, yeah, to your point, we probably lose that game with Doc at coach. But Doc being the coach of the Bucks is the reason why we have to play at 9 o'clock tomorrow. So fuck Doc.
Yeah.
So then how do we feel then about tomorrow? Any expectations? Any hopes? What do we feel?
So I've been saying Knicks in 7 the whole time. I think we win tomorrow and we go up to the Garden losing 7. I stand by it. I can't back down now. It's close to coming true. I think we have a good shooting night tomorrow, and we win by probably 10 or 12 points, but then the shooting variance just doesn't carry over, and we lose at the Garden.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I said Sixers in 6 originally, so I'm going to have to just stick to my guns and say 6 Sixers in 7, baby.
Fair?
Let's fucking do it.
I think, I don't know. I want to say the Knicks probably pull it off tomorrow. But my gut is saying that we squeak out a win. I think it's another close game. And I think it's really, like to your point, Trevor, every game has really been a coin toss. I think it's probably the most exciting series of all the ones that are happening right now.
So I got this for you, right? So this is I don't know who this account is on Twitter. @InPredict. He said, for the 411 NBA playoff series since 1996, here's how Sixers-Knicks stacks up so far. I don't know what these metrics mean, but it's pretty wild. Average excitement index, number 3.
Number 3.
Out of 411. I don't know how you measure that.
I have no clue.
But number 3 out of 411, it's pretty good. Average comeback factor, number 1. Whatever the hell that means.
If you figure, I mean, the Knicks came back to beat us in the fourth quarter in 26 seconds, and then we came back and won.
Yeah. I guess that's what that means, is the probability of a comeback in an unlikely situation. Average tension index, number 11. That's out of 411 series. So it's been the best series in these playoffs, and the best series he's saying since 2014.
Yeah. I mean, it's great basketball, which you love to see.
If you're a neutral fan, it'd be great.
It's better than seeing the fucking Lakers get blown out every time or anything else like that. The Bucks and the Pacers doing whatever the fuck they're doing with no superstars, and Pepe went off and all that. And then
Clippers,
you got Boston.
Mavs have been good. That's about it.
Yeah,
the rest of them have been
Boston's pretty weak, but against Miami, that series, not Boston as a whole.
Sure.
So I think that we find a way to win probably tomorrow. I would hope, but then when it comes down to it on Sunday. Damn, so we got Broad Street and Cinco de Mayo and a game, potentially.
No, I think Game 7's on Saturday.
It's on Saturday.
Is it?
I think it's a coin toss. I really can't say.
I mean, the whole series has been a coin toss.
It's
the wildest thing.
Then there's just as good of a probability of flipping heads 3 times in a row than anything else, man. It's 50-50 every time.
I'm gonna have to remain neutral on the winner of this. I don't know. I really can't.
That's fine.
I
would usually hold that against you, but in this series, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, you really can't predict it.
We could lose to a shitty ass call in Game 7 where we should have won and lost. We could do that. It could happen tomorrow where.
You know what I think?
It's just
the NBA wants there to be a Game 7. We're gonna get some calls to go our way tomorrow.
Yeah.
Especially because another game at the Garden.
I will say though, if we win Game 7 in New York, that would just be
that'd be
like a
fantastic.
chef's kiss. I mean, it'd be amazing.
Dude.
I'd be happy
so
with that.
Fun.
Well,
I'd love to just be able to see Embiid waving goodbye to all their fans. Oh, God, that would be. I want that so bad.
He could wink to them too, only on the one eye.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not winking right now for him. It's just a blink.
Yeah. Well, I guess unless it's a permanent. Is it a blink or is it a permanent wink? Because only the one eye is actually closing. The other one's wide open.
I guess
he's probably got dry eye the whole time too. Because that other one,
he said he has to keep putting drops in.
This shit does not move.
Yeah,
it does not. It moves around.
That's probably so horrible.
The fucked up thing is like, and not saying anything mean, but like shout out blind people though. Like it's like when you see Andre Bocelli without his sunglasses on. Like the eye's moving around, but ain't nothing happening behind it. Like, the one eye is just, without it blinking, is kind of fucked up to look at when you see his face.
That's how we were getting with Embiid.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's how he looks like, though. He's like talking in the press conference. He blinks over here, but I can't tell if this one's the main eye or if, I guess the one that's blinking is the main eye.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have muscle, you can't.
Yeah. The one that's like not moving is the like.
How does he sleep?
He probably has to close it or like. Well, like I said last week, he probably wears a sleep mask. So
But the eye's open though.
It probably
Maybe you can tape it down.
You know what? I did see at one point where he
like a
was,
reverse Clockwork Orange.
He was
thing,
no.
where
I remember seeing him
keep
at
the eyes closed.
Dude, I remember seeing him at one point scratch it and it was closed, but then it just opened again.
Because he probably went like this.
Yeah, I think like he can like force them shut. So he probably just like has something over it. Maybe he rocks an eye
You know what they
patch.
say? Sleep with one eye open. He is right now.
He doesn't have a choice.
Fucked up.
Yeah, that sounds like it sucks. That would annoy the fuck out of me just with my own boring ass life.
Not when
Dude,
you have a
imagine
whole
being
city
a
just
professional
game.
basketball player with a torn meniscus.
Yeah.
The whole city is on your
Like,
ass.
one
You got another
city
city
is like-
booing the shit out of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. But whatever, man. Like, shout out to Embiid. Like, I don't blame him for. It's like, nah, I'm not gonna. This
isn't it yet. Let's wait to see how they
this
do.
is off-season
Yeah.
topics. But
Yeah,
the
yeah.
last thing I have is this tweet from Mike Meach, formerly of the Fightins. Trevor, you remember?
Yeah.
This was him last night, right after the game, and I very much feel this. I hate this team, and I hate basketball, and I hate life. But this is seriously what it's all about.
Yep.
That's how I feel.
Go Sixers. So I guess we're at like almost 50 minutes already. I guess we should get to the Eagles.
Yeah.
That's just the second most important thing.
Yeah,
The
man.
draft.
Go
Good
Birds,
draft.
baby. A+
Howie
draft.
season,
How he
baby.
does it
He
again.
is cooking.
Howie's the OG, dude.
Cooking.
What's up, Big Pimpin'?
Wild. Gotta get better at phone calls, but cooking. Absolutely cooking again. I think there was a 6% chance that we would have got Quinyon Mitchell in the first round. Nabbed him. By the time we got Cooper DeJean, it was down to a 3% chance that we could have got him.
Damn.
And we got both of them. And
I didn't realize the percentages were
yeah,
that low.
it's
Wow.
ridiculous. And I think a lot of that, again, we called this at the beginning, in multiple pods, that it's an offensive heavy draft. And we've been stacked on offense, except for a few pieces here and there for the offensive line. But every, weapon piece is pretty much covered for the next 3-4 years, give or take. O-lineman, we can plug and play here and there. Stalin University can help mold some other young bucks and things like that. But the defense, you figure he went back-to-back drafts where he drafted D-line in the first and second round, or I guess 2 first-round picks, essentially. Nolan Smith, we came back up and whatever. And then you get 2 corners back-to-back, which we haven't done in, 20 years?
Yeah, since 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's incredible. We were here happy if we got one of those guys.
Yeah, it is wild.
Yeah.
We got them both.
And we got them both.
That is nuts.
That is...
Well, I think that's a product of the way the draft fell. You had 6 quarterbacks go in the first 12 picks. And as we said last week, some of those quarterbacks are probably going to be pretty bad.
ass.
They're
Not
gonna
pretty
be
bad. They're going
pretty
to be ass. It reminds me of the draft with Sam Darnold and all those guys where they were like, oh, man, Josh Allen. Like,
Sam Darnoldson.
Yeah, Sam Darnold said, damn, I'm a lot better now. But I listened to that pod back. I was like, oh, my God, this is brutal. All the videos that came out, like, oh, I'm just sitting here like.
Dude, I listened to it at the end. I was like, damn, that was hilarious.
I was on a whole different planet.
It's like we might be the only ones that think that. Listeners, viewers, I hope you all thought that was funny.
Now, when they see the clips, they'll be like, oh, shit. But, yeah, man, I think Howie, A, it's part on Howie, but B, it's just incredible how the draft fell in our favor that way after having really a great offseason as well in terms of free agent additions. And you also look at the payback of it was finally the completion of the Carson Wentz trade.
Yeah.
And the completion of the Carson Wentz trade
I had it pulled up
is
too.
absolutely ridiculous in the sense that we got rid of Carson Wentz, and in that span of all the picks and draft picks and free agents that we got in this same span, we let go of Carson Wentz, all that money and all this shit, and in return we got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith with a draft pick, Jalen Carter with a draft pick, and Cooper DeJean with a draft pick.
Which is wild.
Yeah, it's not.
Like you get 2 Pro Bowl caliber receivers
For a guy
and 2 potential Pro Bowl caliber young players.
For a guy who's a backup quarterback for the Rams or whoever
Who's
he's
bounced
with now.
around the league.
Or now he's with, I forget where
I
he's
don't
at
even
now.
know where the hell he's at.
I think he went somewhere. I just forget where he went. But it's just insane how Howie is able to get away with this shit. And I saw a funny tweet the other day too, where it was like, I feel like the Eagles are playing with a cap that no other team has access to. You figure all the deals he's made in terms of locking down your young talent for the future, all the free agents he's able to bring into on decent deals, and the draft picks he's made over the last 2-3 years.
Yeah, and they also recouped a bunch of picks for next year.
Yeah, dude, they made a record 9 trades in the draft.
Yep.
Wheeling and dealing.
Like they came into this year's draft with 6 picks for next year. Now they have 8 or 9.
Yep, and a couple comp picks too. It depends on what Hassan Reddick does and things like that. So you always get, Howie will never let anyone go for free. He's going to get something back in return. But yeah, I think A plus, and we got Trotter Jr. baby.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
In a great spot.
and we didn't draft him too early. That
in a
was
great spot. Yep.
anyone that listened to last week's pod was probably like, "Oh yeah, Avery hates Trotter Jr." I didn't hate him. Just I would not have wanted to draft him in the 3rd or 4th round. To get him in the 5th round, that's great value.
Yeah.
It's in worst case scenario, he's TJ Edwards. Or no, I'm sorry. Worst case scenario, he's Nakobe Dean, who can't get on the field, who's always hurt, who's too small. Best case scenario, he's TJ Edwards, which if you get a guy like that in the 5th round that you can keep for 4 years, that's awesome.
I saw a clip where someone's like, "Man, Cooper DeJean locked down Marvin Harrison Jr. when he played him in college." So I had to go look back and see when this was. This was not the 2023 season, but I guess their 2022 season when Iowa played Ohio State. So you're thinking, I guess C.J. Stroud's a quarterback. And yeah, the one clip is Cooper DeJean locking him down in the one pass that they threw when Cooper DeJean was covering Marvin Harrison Jr. in the end zone, and he almost had a pick, so he disrupts the pass. It was great play, but they ended up losing the game 77 to 20. So in the larger scale, and I don't know if that was all on him, but it was a great one play in the
Yeah.
He had no impact on that game otherwise.
College sports aren't real.
Yeah, but come on now. It's like he clearly gave up mad touchdowns because there's no way he's not responsible for at least 1 or 2 of those 77 points. So that's hysterical. But
yeah, I mean,
in their last year, though, combined, I think there's 500 attempts with 0 touchdowns given up between Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, which is wild.
Dude, now our secondary, so the A.J. Brown trade solidifies pretty much everyone on the offense, as you said.
Yep.
Now our secondary, think of all these guys we got. We got Quinyon Mitchell. We got Cooper DeJean. We got Reed Blankenship, C.J. G.J., Sidney Brown, Keely Ringo, Eli Ricks.
Yep.
All these guys in the secondary are locked up for the next couple of years. You got Avonte Maddox is back. Yep. You got Slay for another year to mentor some of these young guys. It's our secondary, man, we should be in excellent shape. DeJean, between him and Sidney Brown, you have 2 guys that are interchangeable between safety and
big
nickel.
Time. Big physical players, too.
And you have Quinyon Mitchell can play outside. Keely Ringo should be able to play outside once he realizes his potential. That's not to say you couldn't draft another corner next year if it doesn't pan out. So the defensive secondary, especially compared to where we were a year ago,
the worst.
We're good. Bradbury, he out, dude.
Oh, he's done.
He fucking done.
He might be out at the training camp, to be honest with you. If they can trade his ass somewhere, that someone's going to take that.
I think he might be out after OTAs. They might see what he has in OTAs and be like, yeah, he don't have it.
You might be able to eat that cap, be like, you know what, 12 mil, we'll bite the bullet. You're going to get a cap boost anyway next year.
And it's the opportunity cost of that roster spot.
But you can also default that cap space, and it won't charge you much because you've already paid all of your young talent. Everybody else is pretty much locked in. You signed Josh Sweat. Huff is on a couple-year deal. Carter's on a couple-year deal. Davis is still a rookie deal. You don't really need to have you're going to have a lot of extra cap next year and nobody really to pay for, which is a great position to be in.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, man. It's for a team that is a perennial playoff team and a perennial potential deep run playoff team. I don't think I've ever seen someone make so many moves this way and manipulate the cap and the draft in a positive way as the Eagles have the last 4 years.
I mean, like, most GMs just aren't as savvy as Howie.
We always had this big knock where like he was great at contracts, but he could never figure out the draft. He was always trying to outsmart every other GM.
I think the last couple
and
years,
scout.
his batting average has been really good, though. It's been very
definitely.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan. If you go back before that, you got Devontae Smith, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter.
I mean, you could even go as far back as Jordan Mailata.
Yeah,
That draft, like
that was a Devontae Smith draft.
Nah, that was 2018. That was Avonte Maddox, Dallas Goedert,
Which is still a phenomenal.
Mailata.
Yeah,
So, which is great.
Yep. Yeah, he's been on a tear. He's been on an absolute heater right now. I mean, it's just exciting to see. And the commitment to locking down the talent as well. We don't see people walk away. People are like, oh, A.J. Brown's going to be this and that. He just said he wants to hang up his cleats in that jersey, which is great. I mean,
I think he's going to.
Yeah. He doesn't want to party on Fridays. He wants to go to the gym. Maybe party on Saturday. Nope, I'm going to the gym again. I mean, him and Devontae Smith was not known for being a partier. They just play video
games and just work out and play football. I mean, which, not for nothing. Like, I like a guy that parties too, right? But, I mean, we have a bunch of footballers. Like, Jalen Hurts, he ain't partying.
No.
He's donating $200,000 for air conditioners in the city.
Great timing
That's
for
my
that
man,
shit.
dude.
Yeah.
That's my man, right? And, like, just as a team, I just feel like they're all just focused on football. Like, Saquon seems like a baller, right? You know what I mean?
And he's been losing so much. He wants to win. You know what I mean? You got guys that are hungry as shit. You got guys that are Super Bowl hangover from last year that couldn't quite get over. You get a first-round exit. That's disheartening.
Yeah.
You got guys that haven't really won shit in Saquon Barkley.
You got Lane
rookies.
Coming back for, like, one of his last couple years. He wants to win.
Brandon Graham.
Yeah, BG's last season.
Before the draft, we were like, all right, they might jump up to get one of the top premier corners or an O lineman. They didn't have to move at all, and they got the best corner in the draft. They got the second best corner in the draft, maybe second or third if you want to put, Kool-Aid McKenzie in there.
You could also put Terrion Arnold up there too. Yeah,
with Terrion Arnold. I saw him going past the other three guys, but whatever. It's a crapshoot by the time you get past all those guys, and they're all going to be starters for sure.
Yeah.
But then you get your linebacker safety. You get your linebackers as well in the draft, and with Devin White. But then you also have a phenomenal project piece for Stoughton University, and the guy from the Jets who was a first-round pick 2 years ago.
I love that pick.
6'6",
dude.
yeah.
I really like that. Even though he's been garbage his whole career.
Yeah. Except when he played the Birds.
Yeah.
That's when he had that big-ass block and went...
Go figure.
Yeah. So,
but nah, I think he's waiting to be unleashed. I think Stoughton University is going to be the rub on the genie's lamp, dude. He's going to come out like a man with his hair on fire.
Big time.
I dare say he might be our starting right tackle in like 2 years when Lane's retired.
He could be. I mean, you got Stoughton who could not figure out how to put a helmet on into a potentially all-pro and a Pro Bowl caliber left tackle. Left tackle, not just a guard or anything like that. One of the most crucial pieces of an offensive line. Now you give him a project piece as a past first-round pick from 2 years ago who's 6'6", 380 pounds. Hello? The guy's... what better prospect could you need to help turn around and mold into a phenomenal offensive lineman?
Like, you get drafted into the Jet system, that's probably like joining a job that they're just like, oh yeah, there's no end in sight.
Well,
there's no room for upward mobility. I'm just stuck here.
And you're going to risk blowing out your knee in MetLife Stadium for a fucking Zach White?
Wilson, yeah.
Zach Wilson? Who was the other one? Matt White, whatever the fuck his name was. Their backup before that.
Mike White.
White, yeah.
Either way, come on. Or Joe Flacco, which I would break my leg for Joe Flacco. I would, yeah. But, at the time, Jets Joe Flacco is different than Browns Joe Flacco, I will say. He was not giving them that same juice.
Which is weird. Browns Joe Flacco was like 2 years later.
Yeah. But, yeah, man. Exciting. A+ all around.
Yeah.
What do I got written down here?
And Will Shipley.
Yeah, hold up. Yeah, we got to talk about this. They draft a white cornerback and a white running back. Yo, shout out the guy that called us out, yo. It was like, homies, he was talking about you. He was like, homie, excited they drafted a white cornerback. How you feel about a white running back?
I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what's up. I always like Whitehead. He was pretty good. But I don't know. We'll see what's up. I mean, he has great stats and good numbers when he was like, what does he come from? Clemson?
Clemson. I believe.
He's barely going to play.
Yeah, he's pretty much taking like the Boston Scott role.
Yeah.
I think.
You know, he's scrappy.
He might play a game or two.
He'll be doing special team shit, probably punt return, maybe, shit like that. But, you know, only time will tell. Also, running backs for this team, as we've seen, they're pretty interchangeable with the way the O-line goes. So as long as we have a pretty good O-line and remain top 5, any of us could run behind that O-line. So it doesn't really matter to me who he is, what race he is. I think it's funny that they got him, but he's a great talent. So, you know, he ain't going to be McCaffrey, but he'll be all right.
Yeah, I think he probably gets a couple garbage time TDs this year, which good for him.
Maybe, but unless they get to the 1 yard line.
Well, no, I mean garbage time when the starters are out of the game, where it's just like, okay, bring him in and let's see what he can do.
Yeah, you know, we'll see. Also, with Saquon's kind of health issues here and there, it wouldn't be bad to have got someone to just be bounced around and shit like that.
Yeah, he could end up playing a few games.
Yeah, he could. Yeah. We'll see. I mean, we'll see what we got, but it's exciting. I think all the draft picks were good. Got a great old lineman from Michigan who was a diehard Eagles fan growing up.
Oh, which one is that? Is that Keegan?
I think so.
Yeah.
Big
Trevor.
dude.
His name's
Big
Trevor.
Dude.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
Big
Trevor.
Moose. Yeah, Big Moose. So I'll take that.
Yeah.
And a center from I think it was what?
Oh, McMahon.
Northern Illinois or Illinois State, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I think top to bottom, the draft was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, even to get some O-line depth late in the draft, like we knew we didn't need starters on the O-line necessarily, but you needed some depth, and I think we got that. And
Plus,
Stoutland will coach these kids up.
And while you have Stout, I know how much longer he wants to coach. I know he almost retired last year. They kept him back in, so he you know he's thinking about going out.
Not allowed to retire.
Right,
Sorry,
but
buddy.
while he's here, get some guys that could be good prospects. You know, if maybe Cam Jurgens is better at being a guard than he is at center, then you got someone to fill in there. But I think we'll be all right with that.
Yeah, we're good. Speaking of Eagles centers, last bit of Eagles news, Jason Kelce to Monday Night Countdown.
Yeah.
Which y'all
that's
think?
cool. Yeah, you figure he's going to end up, you know, on one of those broadcasts. Damn.
Yeah, he was matter. I mean, I thought maybe after the season, like take a year off of doing anything. But the dude's addicted to content creation and just being a part of football.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to go away at all in anything. He's been on an absolute tear since he retired.
Yeah, I didn't know where he was going to end up. I do think that ESPN could use him for their Monday night countdown, because who is that anymore? It's like Booger McFarland.
Oh my god! And that other white dude.
Jason
bad.
Garrett's NBC. Whoever the hell else.
I can't think of the dude, but I can picture him in my head.
Right.
I mean, the fact that we can't even name who they are probably
Booger
tells you
is
something.
ass.
Yeah, Booger's
so
ass,
bad.
dude. He
Yeah.
sucks. Kelsey's gonna run circles around him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Kelsey will be a huge lift for Monday Night Football. I think a lot of people that don't really know a lot about football will learn a lot from just him talking about it pregame, postgame and whatnot. Good for him, man. He ends up with the worldwide leader.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He didn't end up with no butt-ass Amazon.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
He got Monday night. He got
NBC
the good.
does okay,
What's
but
their song?
What?
I don't know what the one thing is. Monday night has a great countdown.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yo, Round Ball Rock still hits better.
Oh, that's
though.
the best.
Yo, NBC might be getting NBA rights back.
I saw that the NBA were about to do a thing with Amazon.
But yeah, apparently they might be doing something with. So in how it is right now, how it's ESPN and TNT, I think the future is going to be Amazon and NBC. So if the NBA gets NBC, or NBC gets the NBA, we're going to hear Round Ball Rock again, dude.
Yeah.
That's the most iconic song in sports history, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I'll carry that to the grave, dude.
Yeah, I don't think you'll have too many arguments there. That's the best.
But yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to go off on that little tangent.
Yep. So, I guess we can touch on the Flyers news real quick. Not, a ton, just a little rumor that Mishkov, his team, the Ska team, could potentially let him out of his contract early. this is all very much like just rumors, so we have no idea if this is true or not, or what the likelihood of it is, or anything like that. But, it has at least been reported that they've come out and said that they have like a good relationship with the Flyers
because of the Fedotov.
Yeah,
they
which
were
makes
willing
sense.
Dealing.
Yeah, so I think they said that it would be conditioned on some kind of stipulation that they couldn't send him down to, the Phantoms or anything. Which I don't think you have to worry about that. I think if they bring him over, he's going to be on the Flyers. But interesting. I'm not really getting my hopes up that he's going to be here next year. I think that he might be the year after. I think he might get out a year early.
Well, my hopes are all the way up.
Yeah, bring him over now. I mean, honestly, it probably wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for him to play in the KHL for another year. Probably help us get a better draft pick, but
conversely,
it would obviously be very exciting.
Dude, conversely, they were a lot better than people expected them to be last year.
True.
So maybe bring him over. It speeds up the rebuild a little bit.
Sure.
So, do they make the playoffs next year after you bring them over? Probably not, but they're that much closer, even though you can't get much closer than they were this year.
I think all them picks.
But, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't believe this random Russian news source that the English was roughly translated.
Yeah.
They do say Russian media is pretty fair.
It's pretty reliable.
And
yeah,
reliable. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
But
I can't trust that worth a damn, dude.
Yeah.
I would rather trust
Tobias Harris in the fourth quarter in the playoffs.
Well, he came through for us yesterday. That's not good.
But yeah, the one thing that does kind of make me feel like maybe there is something to it is the fact that the manager for the Scott team, just for whatever reason, does not seem to be too high on him. I mean, they loaned him out last year when he was playing at a very high level, and they probably could have used him, but for whatever reason, they're just like, nah, get out of here. It's also
does that not worry you though?
Not really.
He's probably like, why am I here?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just one of those things this, and also they did not select him for the under 24 team, which I guess the manager of SKA is also involved in. So it's just this one guy just doesn't like him for whatever reason. So it's kind of the point where it's well, if you're not going to play this guy, why are you so concerned with keeping his contract and keeping him here? So I could see him playing over there one more year, but wouldn't shock me at all if he comes over 1 year early.
Oh, that'd be cool.
The season after next, basically. I think that's when it's going to happen.
Hey, I would absolutely take that. I mean, they're probably not going to get a great pick this year.
Yeah, it'll be at
maybe
12.
The lottery odds really fall in their favor, but we're probably going to end up with the 12th pick. Hopefully, some of the other young guys we've talked about before, like your Emil Andres, your Kolosovs, right? Hopefully they develop a little bit more, and hopefully some of the guys that are already up, your Bobby Brings, your Tyson Forsters,
yeah,
maybe Couturier, who got a new agent, maybe he bounces back. I don't know, maybe. My point being is, the team could get better next season, where if Mishkov comes over, then the following year they are a playoff team, and, a high-key playoff team, not this year where they were, middling team. And, bubble. Because you got to think about it. Think about some of the playoff teams this year, right? Tampa Bay is getting older. The Rangers are getting a little older. The Islanders are fringed. The Caps are going to be probably garbage in a couple years.
Yeah.
Right? The Eastern Conference will probably be wide open. Florida's probably going to be really good. Carolina will probably still be solid. But, other than that, the Eastern Conference will probably be pretty butt in a couple years.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of real up-and-coming teams in the Eastern Conference. It's a lot of, sort of
Toronto's
fading dynasties.
Be Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto. I mean, they might end up trading some guys. Who the fuck knows what's going on there?
They're the Sixers of the NHL or the Cowboys of the NHL.
Yeah. Take your pick. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Apparently that article, if it is to be believed, said that they were going to make a decision on this by the end of June. So
okay.
we'll see.
All right, man. We got 2 months.
Yeah. End of June's also when the draft is, so could be a lot of stuff happening at the end of June for the Fly guys. So the Phillies?
Yeah, man. 21 wins now.
Yeah, killing it, yo.
What do we got on the Phillies? Been good. Not a whole lot to complain about here. I mean,
Alec Baum has been,
hottest player in baseball, probably.
Well, I think Mickey Moniak just beat him out for Player of the Month, but...
What?
Yeah, just because of a couple other different stats.
Moniak was hitting like 172.
Not Moniak. What's it called? No. That's who we were playing. What the fuck's his name? Mookie Betts. My bad.
Oh, well, Mookie Betts is a damn good player.
Okay. But he was up there with him for a minute. But 30 RBIs already? Incredible.
Yeah, his stats for the season are off the chain, dude. I got it written down.
I think in this stretch right now, he went 21 for 42 or something like that, which is like wild.
Dude, for this season, he's got a 15-game hitting streak, which is probably where 21 for 42 is at.
Yep.
He's batting on the season 362. He's got a 432 on base, a 586 slug, a 1.018 OPS, and he's second in the NL with 30 RBIs.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah, he's been on an absolute tear. Great to be in the 4th spot for him. Great third baseman. Great fielding, too. I mean, he's had a great glove all season, you know?
Like, I was thinking at some point, like, probably this past summer, I was like, yo, they're probably not going to be able to keep him because, like, if you move Harper to first, he can't play third forever, but he's been holding up great at third.
Yeah.
And, like, this offense, you can't afford to lose that. Like,
no.
I'm sure he comes back down to earth a little bit. And Topper even said, he's like, I think he's kind of just on a hot streak. But, like, even if he does come back down to earth a little bit, like, he's probably still going to be about a 300 hitter. Probably still going to hit like 20 home runs, driving 100 runs. You can't really replace that.
I think he's on pace for 100 RBIs now as it stands.
Oh, easily.
I mean, obviously, but I think he'll definitely... 20 home runs too anymore is like...
He's not really like a home run hitter like that. Like, he's a gap-to-gap hitter. That's why he's hitting 362 at 4 dingers.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good guy. Like, in a good weather game, he'll hit a couple... he's had a couple multi-home run games already this season. I think Schwarber still smokes. Schwarber is still popping off. He also has 8 home runs now. He's up 2. He's been warming up also.
They lead the National League in homers.
In a quieter streak, Schwarber's also been popping them Schwar bombs out. We're getting closer to June, so...
Yeah,
it's coming up here, so he's loving it, the warm weather. Unfortunately, they come for a homestand that's going to be pretty rainy all weekend, which is the name of the game for the Phillies at home. But, yeah, man, the Phillies are looking pretty hot. I don't hate it.
The one thing I do hate...
Cassie's kind of warming up a little bit.
He had that big dinger last night. Yeah. He had a few hits last night.
Yep.
The one thing I hate, Sir Anthony Dominguez.
Oh, yeah. He's starting to look like he's got to take a little vacation to Lehigh Valley. Dude, damn.
His stats, he's pitched in 12 games. He has a 1-2 record, a 9.56 ERA.
Yeah.
He's given up 3 dingers, and he's allowing 1.74 walks/hits per innings pitched.
Terrible.
He's ass, dude.
Good.
Compared to everybody else in that bullpen.
Just watching him pitch, it just feels like he just has no idea where the ball is going.
No.
It's sad. He used to be so good.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what it is, if some of it's just mental but he's kind of been not great for a while now.
Even going back to last year's playoffs.
Right, yeah.
Great. Maybe his prime's past him. Like, the Phillies called him up when he was like 22, 23. He was dealing back then, and maybe he just doesn't have it anymore. That's the life as a relief pitcher. It's a very volatile,
it's
career path.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
But not to be all negative, because things are going well, right? Like, Rangers been dealing. We got Alec Boehm's been crushing. They're first in the league in home runs. Dude, they're one of the most balanced teams in the league.
Yeah.
First in the league in home run, or in the NL anyway. First in the NL in home runs. 4th in slug. 4th in OPS. That's on offense. Pitching is first in ERA. First in strikeouts. First in whip.
Yeah.
Like, that's an elite team, dude.
They were asking JT how it's been like catching this season. He's like, honestly, this is the easiest season I've ever had to start the season off. Or like, I mean, everybody's got almost a sub 2 or 3 ERA. Granted, without everybody else, but all your aces are killing it between Wheeler, Nola, and Ranger. What more could you ask for? And the bats are finally waking up.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then. I mean, Harper has an okay day here and there, but he'll pop a homer here and there. Schwarber's heating up. Turner's on a tear. Bomb's killing it. Everybody's doing their part. Rojas had a great game last night. It was good for him to pop that out there. You know what I mean?
A game-winning dinger.
Yeah. Good for him. Finally, all that offseason workouts finally starting to pave through. Castellanos is still, I mean, he went over 4 today, but, that's kind of what you're going to get with him. He's like a double RBI double or bust. Really,
he's inconsistent until he gets hot, and then when he gets hot, he's just unbelievable.
Fielding though still good. Schwarber looked decent. He was out there making some plays today, which is funny as shit.
I mean, he caught the game.
He took a little dive. You saw that shit.
He took the game ending out like right in front of the wall.
Yep.
Yeah.
And chase that down. So they've been on a pretty good thing, and a whole big road game. I mean, that was what they played 9 games on the road.
10-game road trip. They won 7-3.
Yeah. So I'll take that all on the West Coast, too. Now they come home. They keep that West Coast energy alive playing San Fran, which should be a pretty good series in terms of us just kind of dominating. But
the Giants are pretty good.
You got a shitty weather coming into town. It's going to be rainy potentially Saturday. Definitely rainy Sunday. But, they look good. We predicted this at the beginning of the pod. We said, hey, of the season of the pod, I should say, that we want to see them start off hot as opposed to every other season that they have with this roster. And it's finally started to come to life where the bats are waking up. The pitching we knew was going to be good. It's, being as good as it could be, the best almost in the NL. So just keep doing what they're doing. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, they're a half game behind the Braves, or they were coming into today. But they've played a few more games because they have that series in London, so they need some travel days. Yeah. The Braves has also played a pretty easy schedule. They played the Marlins, I want to say 6 times.
I think they lost. I think the Marlins, what's it called? The Braves lost today, though. Because now they play, they play Seattle now.
They might be even in the loss
column. I know they lost last night. It was that game was crazy. They had it was like both teams had almost no hitters going.
I was following that before I went to bed.
And then the Marlins walked it off. Or the Mariners, rather. Yeah.
But yeah, the Braves have played the Marlins a bunch. I think they've played the Mets at least once or twice. The Braves haven't played a hard schedule.
Yeah.
So their schedule's going to get a lot harder. Not saying the Phillies won't either. The Phillies have played some bad teams. Yeah, we've had a fairly
easy schedule too. But, it's good to take advantage of it.
But it'll be nice to get a day off tomorrow. Got this London series coming up in the next month, I guess.
When is that? Next month?
I want to say it's in June. So, you'll have some time off around that. The Phillies will be all right, dude. It's nice to be only, a game back of the Braves. And
instead of, 7 games back.
Already.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
But, yeah, I guess that's all we got on them.
Yeah, what else is going on? We've got the Broad Street run on Sunday.
Yeah, speaking of the weather on Sunday, it's going to be ass, dude.
Again, didn't it rain last year, too?
It rains almost every year.
It was miserable that year.
The thing is, though, they're calling for a 60% chance of rain, but I don't think it, in my head, I didn't look at any report. I'm just putting it out there into existence. I don't think it's going to be a downpour. I think it's going to be, 60% chance of rain could just mean that it could be a light mist all day.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was like for much of last year.
No, it was piss. For the race, it was pissing out.
By the time I got to your house, it was just a steady, it was just drizzle.
But I don't know. I think it's just going to blow over. I don't think it's going to rain on Sunday.
Yeah, we shall see.
In my head. Not in any other actual factual reports. I'm just predicting no rain on Sunday.
Hey, that'd be
out of
cool.
A feeling, out of a gut feeling.
Yeah.
Not
Who do we
year.
know running this Broad Street run? Mikey's running it. Nick's running it.
Nick. Brandon Galt.
Damn, Brandon Galt, wasn't he all banged up?
He just needs a bib.
I thought he was all banged up last year. I remember seeing him the day of the race last year. He was all banged up. Whatever.
I know he took a shit at the race, but the rain really fucked everybody up. Nick Mangione, who I work with, he'll be running it. I think there's some people that Nick and Monica work with that are running it too.
Probably.
There's a bunch. Oh, Steven Mitchell, our friends, they're running it.
I don't know who the hell that is.
I don't know.
Well, I guess shout out to all the maybe some of the runners will be listening to this
podcast. We should bring the flag on the Broad Street then.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
And maybe some of the runners will be listening to the pod on the run.
They'll be like, holy shit, this is great.
We're rooting you all on if you're listening as we speak.
Yeah, we all believe in you, and you're doing great.
Yeah, I can't run anymore because of my bunions, so I'm running vicariously through you.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out Broad Street Run. It'll be a great day on Cinco de Mayo, which is fun. So
get some margs.
Yeah.
Are y'all making margs?
Mm-hmm.
Should,
okay. Adios meal.
Marg time.
We're going to Produce Junction getting some fruit so we can freeze it.
Oh, Jesus Cristo.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I guess that's just about do it for us here tonight, everybody. Please leave us a 5-star rating and review of your podcast. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Send us an email at citywidepod@gmail.com. And from all of us here at the Citywide, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Peace.
See ya.